everybody, it is Calxiyn and Hunter here, and today we are reacting to the RWBY Volume 9 soundtrack, and we are taking a look at Chatterbox. This is a song where I'm like, I have no idea what it's about. Like, the art for the video is of Neo and the cat, which is interesting, but like, this only showed up...
I mean, the cat talks a lot, so maybe that's the Chatterbox reference?
But this song showed up so briefly that I'm like not sure what it's about, so I'm really excited.
I mean, I guess it's also ironic to have a song about Neo called Chatterbox.
Yeah, like I wonder if it's about Neo and the cat. Just, I mean, that's again the art cover. So, like, I guess we'll see. Because so I guess I can save my beef for later. I'm a little sad that we didn't get a Neo song because you had like one thing, which was Neo beefing with Cinder, and by extension also RWBY. Like, she blames both of them for Roman's death. And so it's a little surprising that they didn't bring back one thing for the volume where Neo actually got what she wanted. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I toyed around with the idea of a reprise, and I posted like the one thing reprise just like one day on my YouTube channel with some of the lyrics changed. But like, I would have liked an entirely sort of like Mirror Part 2 like new arrangement that kept the motif of one thing but then changed a lot of stuff. Maybe this song has a one thing motif. I guess we'll see. But yeah, if I had any criticism so far just by not listening to the other songs, just by looking at the soundtrack, it's like I think the Neo erasure like is definitely something on my mind, because like even in the show, it's sort of weird that she doesn't have a song playing when she takes out RWBY or any of that stuff. And I know it was a very dialogue-heavy scene, and it wasn't really a fight scene. But yeah, hopefully this gives us something we can work with. But yeah, that's my only thing where I'm like, we're probably never going to see Neo again, and they never made a one-thing update sort of song. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, do you think I'm biased, Hunter?
I don't know, you with your Neo hair and your Neo shirt complaining that there isn't more Neo songs. I don't know if you're biased. This is interesting.
Okay, this sounds a bit like
why does this sound like the opening of a Hollywood Undead song? Someone's gonna get that reference and laugh. It won't be you, it's okay.
It reminds me of... I don't know.
Oh. I like this.
Okay, one thing.
I like the kind of... Her vocals are excellent in that.
It could also be the cat that the cat wants closure to find out what happened to the gods, so I like that there's a duality.
Yeah. I love the kind of industrial, maybe you would call it metal hazy rock in the background. I really like that.
Yeah, see? It's interesting, because I could see this being about Neo or the cat. Sorry,
why do you pause right at the drop? Why are you teasing us?
Hold on. But yeah, it could be about Neo or the cat. That's interesting.
You paused the worst. Clearly, it's about to be like, bah. You ruined it. God damn it, cow.
No!
Oh, shit. I like this.
This is really interesting. Like, I know we're just supposed to be listening, but like, this is really interesting.
I'm trying to think of what this reminds me of, but there's definitely...
Awake.
I'm not comparing it to other RWBY songs. I'm thinking of a different...
But it does remind me of Awake.
Yeah.
Stop, Hunter! You're gonna hurt yourself!
It's so good. You say don't hurt yourself?
Yeah, you're gonna hurt yourself!
I do. It's so haunting and growly and dark, and I feel like we haven't really had a RWBY song. Why?
Well, Awake was in
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to remember Awake, though. Like, was it as growly? Because, like,
the music.
Sure.
Maybe not the vocals. The vocals, Casey's definitely popping off.
Yeah. I mean, you get that kind of, like, higher, clearer vocals as well, but there are some pretty growly, too. I dig that. Evanescence? I don't know if it's Evanescence. Maybe I'm just dumb.
That reminds me of
like,
the end song. little too. I don't know why.
Like, God. Maybe Evanescence? Maybe, like, what was Courtney Love's band again? Maybe not as grungy as that. Oh? What's the band? I'm so dumb.
Are you okay, Hunter?
Sorry, I know, I'm just trying to think of what this reminds me of. I love it, though.
Yeah, I'm like thinking, like I'm... But yeah, Casey's vocals are definitely different than anything before, but I think it is closest to Awake in terms of other RWBY music.
But it's really solid. I really liked it.
And like, obviously, Flint has taken some creative liberty in terms of who, like, he's assigned the lyrics to, but I'll talk about it.
So who do you think this song is? I mean, I guess we're gonna get there.
I mean, I think it's about... Okay, so in terms of my personal music taste, like, the electro swing is a lot closer to what I regularly listen to.
This is
suited to the to the mood of the song.
This is closer to something I would listen to in my everyday life.
Yeah, well, we're different.
I like electro swing too. I'll listen to that Lone Digger song.
But I don't know. I don't like to be sad. Hunter loves being sad.
This is more angry than sad, I would say. The lyrics like spit out something real. Like, this isn't a sad song. This is like a pissed song.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so in terms of a lyrical analysis, I would say, like, it's both of them. Some of the lines are one of them, but I would say that it is both of them. And you have that nice duality of, again, the curious cat who talks too much, and then also Neo who doesn't talk at all. And so I think that was a really creative, like, that was a really cool idea. So I think that Flint is right to have Neo here for sure. I still think it is a Neo song, especially One Thing. That's a One Thing reference. It doesn't use the One Thing melody, but, like, that's very specific. Like, they're calling back to lyrics of the other song. But in this case, the cat closure is about the gods, and then the closure for Neo is, like, killing RWBY, right? And so they're both so close. That's why they're so interesting, right? Like, Neo and the cat, and the fact that the cat takes over Neo is because they kind of both want the same thing, almost. Like, they both want closure. And then Neo gets what she wants and realizes it wasn't worth it, but the cat never does. Like, that's where the contrast kind of comes in with those two, right? Yeah, so I'm not sure about what this would mean, other than if it's about the cat. Honestly, I have absolutely no fucking clue.
Well, what money would you think, like, Neo's house
But with
could
Neo,
be the
that's what I was gonna say. With Neo, the house is the monument.
Well, this could be the cat talking about Neo.
That's true as well.
Underneath a monument.
I mean, I think it's Neo I think it's Neo, like, they're all Neo, but then sometimes it's also the cat. Like, you know what I mean?
Everything the sun touches is Neo.
Like, Neo is singing right now. If this was a musical, I think Neo would still be singing. Maybe the cat would pop in and out. But he could, yeah, you're right. Like, the cat could also be talking about Neo's house as a place of interest. Because here's the other thing, okay? So, I'm trying to think. I think that this was in the 4chan leaks, so it's fine for me to talk about. There was an implication that there was an earlier draft of the episode where the cat led RWBY to Neo on purpose.
Yes.
And that was implied by the 4chan leaks, and you can sort of see the remnants of that in the butterfly, because the blue butterfly still flies past RWBY as she's going to Neo's house, and we know that that blue butterfly is the cat.
Yes.
And so, even though they had to cut that out, the idea that the cat originally, and still in a symbolic way, because the butterfly still flies past RWBY in the actual show, even though the cat is never seen, you could kind of have the implication that the cat lured her still to Neo's mansion, even though that part was cut. Do you understand what I'm saying? Even in the canon of the show that we have right now, and not the cut material, that's still implied by the fact that the butterfly goes past RWBY as she's walking. You know, it's sort of like a little subtle detail. So yeah, you're right, Hunter. It could also be like, I'm gonna get RWBY to go to this house. Like, it could also be that too. But I think the monument, especially for Neo, it being Neo's house, is the paintings as well, because you have the paintings of her life with her family, Roman rescuing her, which is this giant monument, like, you know, this giant portrait of them, and then like the smaller portraits where she finds out that Roman's dead and then also starts to work with Cinder. So it could just be a monument. That whole house. The smoke is interesting because, like, the smoke is interesting because it could be talking about the herbalist smoke, but where this comes in the actual show, Neo has not been honeybeed by Jean yet. You know when they like, you know, what did you smoke the beehive? Like, that hasn't happened. Like, because this was in a previous like episode. I think this came in the episode with the Jabberwocker. I don't know. Am I wrong?
Not entirely.
It definitely wasn't later, but it was earlier. I don't think that Neo was here. I think the Jabberwockers were around. I think this was at the market. Anyway, so the smoke thing could be a reference to later, but I think that it could also be that Neo is seeing through the smoke in terms of like, so she turns into Cinder and RWBY, right? Yeah. But we never get any further indication that she, like, is still pissed at Cinder at all. It seems like that she's entirely shifted to just being pissed at RWBY, and so we don't really know. So seeing through the smoke could have been, like, seeing through, like, okay, yeah, Cinder kind of fucked with me, you know? Like, Cinder kind of betrayed me a little bit. The illusions being weak, though, that's interesting.
Could that be a discussion of Neo's own self-delusion?
Like...
Of, like, she created,
she knows
like,
that
Roman's
she made Roman, but he's not real. Yeah, I think so.
That was my initial interpretation of it.
Well, the thing about that's interesting, though, is that, like...
Notice how we're taking way more time talking
the
about the Neo one. I wonder why.
I'm trying to, like, put my brain in gear. But her illusions are weak, which is the interesting thing. They're actually quite the strongest that they've ever been.
Yeah, but they still can't fool her.
But they're not real. Yeah, see, that's what I was going to get to. That's what I really like about that. That it's contradicting itself, because her illusions are weak, but you're right, Hunter. I was going to get there. As you're saying... That's interesting, that, like, they're so strong now, but even she can see through them. She knows that it's not real. See, so I think that this is more about the gods, like what the cat left, or what the gods left behind to the cat. However, I think that this is interesting because I personally really like the idea that, like, I mean, this also happens in the show, though. Neo hears Roman in her head. Who knows if she was hearing him in her head this entire time, right? And we just didn't know that. And so, like, I feel like that there's something in that, like, past the cat, in terms of if this is a Neo and the cat song, the idea that she's thinking that Roman is sending her messages from the dead, like that this is what Roman wants. And so I find that really interesting. Even, like, maybe she thinks her finding the hat was a sign or something, like some sort of sign from Roman from the beyond. I love that trope. I've written Neo like that a couple times, where she's just like, this is what Roman would have wanted. And so I like that, it harkens back to that idea, right? And this is where I paused and Hunter got mad. So this is also very cat, right?
Yeah.
Cat-coded.
Cat-coded. It's not about, like...
I feel like it's...
her own kind of growing madness and delusion.
I feel like it's also about, like, her becoming Neo in the first place.
Maybe.
Like, it could even go back to, like, trivia, in terms of, like, her parents locked her up inside of, not a box, a house, but, like, now she's escaped. And so I kind of like the idea that this may also harken all the way back to, like, a fuck you to Neo's parents. You know what I mean? That, like, they trapped her in there, but she, like, Neo eventually clawed her way back at, like, onto the surface again. I think that's interesting. Yeah, and so even though the lyrics are blue, which I'm assuming, like, in Flint's interpretation, that would be the cat, I think that it's, like, the cat is like, finally, this bitch is broken. But it's also Neo. I think it's Neo's, like, finally, like, I'm at my full power. I feel more like myself. Because the thing is, right, and this is, you know, some people think that when Neo fought Cinder in Volume 6, that wasn't the real Neo, that was a clone that Neo sent in to go fight her, and the real Neo was outside all along. I like that. But in the interpretation that didn't happen, we have to remember that in Roman Holiday, Neo is able to make illusions of people, right? Like, that have physical mass, and then for some reason, because they didn't think of Roman Holiday before they wrote it, for some reason, like, she doesn't really do that until Volume 9. So I kind of like the idea that she lost that ability. Like, there's a whole thing in the book, her parents shatter her imaginary friend and she can't do it anymore, right? And so, if you don't believe in the fact that Neo was making clones in Volume 6, right, when she's fighting Cinder, if you don't believe in that, this is the first time she's doing it again, and so that power has also risen to the surface. I like it. And I feel like Say Something Real is interesting, because Roman's like, yeah, I'm not real, and, like, you have that dialogue, like, we could take over this whole place, like, you know, you sort of wonder, like, I think that how Roman is depicted is true to how he actually is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that for the most part, because some people were like, oh, but Roman wasn't really like that. Like, this is just Neo being delusional. I do think that, like, most of Roman is based in reality, but you also wonder if there's an element of, like, he wouldn't fucking say that. Roman wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? That even she is, like, making Roman say things that maybe he wouldn't say, and she knows, but she can't because he's not autonomous. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, she's controlling everything, but she knows that it's not real, right? And so, yeah, the riddle thing, I think, is also the cat. You know what I mean?
I feel like she wouldn't call Roman's mouth ugly.
No, not him.
But like the cat, you know?
Yeah. I think, though, that this line isn't about Roman. I think that this Say Something Real is to Roman. But I think that, like, okay, maybe this doesn't...
well, because she also kind of gets deluded by the cat as well. So I feel like it really could just be a conversation between Neo and the cat.
That's true. But I have a...
But you will force secretly this is about Neo and Fox.
No. Like, what if this is about RWBY? Because RWBY is not admitting that she killed Roman, and she still doesn't admit it, even later on.
She didn't.
Yeah, well, yeah, but, like, RWBY's like, what did she say? She's like, is that what this is about? Because I'm not sorry. Like, you know what I mean? She has that dialogue. So she's not like, I didn't kill him. She never says that. And I thought that was so interesting in the volume because, like, RWBY could have just said, I didn't kill him, but instead she's like, is that what this is about? I'm not sorry. So she's almost like, it's like RWBY wants Neo to be mad at her.
Yeah.
Almost, I think that's an extension of RWBY wanting to die.
Or just wants to hurt Neo.
Yeah. And like, RWBY's like, yeah, I didn't kill him, but I'm not going to tell you that. You can think I killed him, right? And so I wonder if RWBY's the one speaking in riddles in terms of like, she never says whether she did or did not kill Roman. All she said, so I feel like the ugly mouth to spit it out could be to RWBY. I'm waiting for you to say that you killed him or you didn't kill him. But instead, RWBY's like, I'm not sorry that it happened. Like, that's no clarity on whether or not she did it or not. That's what I think that's interesting. Little guitar.
Yeah, it's a little guitar. It's really an electric ukulele.
A tiny guitar.
Electric ukulele.
I don't know if they record their instruments live. They probably do.
Yeah.
But it's a computer. Maybe it's in the computer. So it is a tiny guitar. It's a computer guitar. Oh my god. I almost like just choked on my cough drop. I like sugar coated because like Neo is ice cream. Oh, very nice. But then also like I think that this is again not to judge where Flint posted and put the colors. I think that this is Roman. Roman is saying all you need is here. Like we could take over this whole place. Yeah. That's what Roman says. So I think this is Roman talking actually. And I like that they didn't change because sometimes when there are men in the RWBY songs, there's a man.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Like singing to imply that that's them. Like for Morning Follows Night, Jeff sung, I think, and then Lamar was there for the rap section, and then like Caleb sung Hero, but that was sort of an exception because even some of the male-coded songs, like even some of the other male character songs, Casey was singing. However, usually when there's a duet between a female character and a male character in the context of a song, they have a male vocalist. like Morning Follows Night, and then this time where it's supposed to be Gira, I think, is singing with Blake. Yeah. And so all of that to say that I like, though, that they didn't have a man come in and sing it, because even though it's Roman talking, who is it really? It's in Neo's head, right? So that's a nice, I don't know if that was intentional, it probably wasn't, but like that's a nice little thematic thing that it's still Neo singing, even if it's Roman talking, because Roman is not real. Yeah, I feel like that's so raw.
I love her vocals on that.
Yeah, I know.
She's really good performance.
And there's something interesting that happens here. Rage? Okay, this may be wrong. Don't quote me on this. Rage is the same note, maybe, that happens in the end credit song when Casey sings, what is it? I am everything and nothing all at once. I think rage is the same note, or at least in the same, I think it may be the same. Yeah, rage once. I think they're the same note, so I kind of like the idea that this is a Neo song, because I do think that The Edge is about Neo, like, literally jumping off the edge and going to the blacksmith, right? So, like, this idea that, like, this has the same motif as, it's like rising like a wave that's clear. I am everything and nothing all at once. I will meet you at the horizon where we first met. And like talking about dying and being reborn again. I can't sing right now, guys. Please don't take this as indicative of my singing ability. Because, like, I like that because it's like, it's going back to later in terms of the album when Neo will change, you know? See, this is what I wonder. What is this? Like, what is this about?
Maybe it's just because, like, it's not what she's feeling with that Roman isn't real, because it's not real Roman, it's delusion.
That's it. I like that.
You're not going to actually, like, fight and win the world and do anything. You're really just going to create a kingdom of your own, like, delusion and nostalgia.
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I like that. Because she's saying, give me anything except for, like, the rage that I feel, right, in the last line. So is she asking for Roman to give her something other than rage? And then maybe the next line is that, like, he can't because he's not real, so he can't give her the real love to escape the rage, I think. Like, maybe it's like the righteous would be going after RWBY. That's supposed to be the righteous, like, thing to do. Like, that's the meaning, like, that's a meaningful thing to do, to take the revenge, but that's not love. Like, it's still not love. Oh, that's such a good line. It's not just you. Like, you know, okay. I love this. I think that this is directed toward RWBY, I would say, because we do have that scene where, like, Neo is using the people that die.
Yeah, so this could be Neo saying, like,
leave your tears to, like, you can cry to somebody else because you think that you lost everything.
I lost a ginger too.
Yeah, kinda. And oh, that's so raw. They gave me, like, I don't know if you guys can see, I have little goosebumps from I know. Like, from, like, it's not just you who lost it all. Like, that's so because, like, yeah, like, listen, not to be the Neo defender, but, like, yeah, like, even though she's bad.
Not what you do professionally.
Even though she's bad, she still loved Roman. Like, there's still real loss and real grief. And being a criminal does not make you impenetrable in terms of grieving. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's an interesting thing to sort of discuss, is the fact that, yes, Neo is a bad person, but bad people still have, like, even bad people, or people that do bad things, still have just as human feelings as the heroes do. And so I really like that. I like that, like, yeah, I know that you lost people because Neo brings back all these bitches and Lionheart, all of the important people,
these bitches
and Lionheart,
and Lionheart.
You know, from the grave. And to make that point, and like she's like, but I don't care that you lost all those people because you don't care that I lost it too, right? And so I think that's interesting. And I like that this comes back, even though, like, I guess this is the chorus, but the chorus in this song is kind of complicated. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like there were other places that I could also thought was the chorus. So like the fact that this is repeating is interesting. But yeah, I just think it's so, I think that it may even be a reference to RWBY.
I could see that, yeah.
Cause like, that's what always gets me. RWBY never gives Neo a straight answer about what happened to Roman. Not saying that she should have or she had to, but like, isn't that just so funny? It's funny to me. I think it's hilarious. Like, I think it's just hilarious. It's just hilarious. But anyway, good song, 10 out of 10. So it's so funny that I didn't plan that at all, by the way, when I was bitching about the fact that Neo didn't get another song. I didn't plan it to be like, oh, this is the Neo song. Like, it just came to me. I do like the last one better in terms of just like my musical genre, but in terms of lyric analysis, there's some very interesting stuff going on here. I like the contrast between Neo and the cat, because I think that like the volume as a whole is a big conversation about grief and closure and not getting closure or getting, I don't want to say too much closure, but like what comes to mind is Jean, like Jean having to control everything and not wanting anyone to ever suffer, and like, you know what I mean, like with the paper pleasers. And so I really like the contrast between the cat and Neo, but I do think, like, listening to it, I think it is a Neo song. And I kind of like the implication that, like, maybe the cat and Neo did have a conversation off screen, you know? Like, especially because, like, the cat leads RWBY to the house, like, or whatever, like, you know, what we talked about, even though it's vague. Like, it would have been interesting if maybe when the cat fucked off, he did talk to Neo. That's what a lot of us thought was gonna happen, actually. Like, when the cat left Jean and was like, oh, yeah, like, you know, you made your choice, and then he just, like, goes away. A lot of us thought that we were gonna see the cat and Neo interact in some capacity, and it was kind of sad that they didn't, because I feel like that the cat and Neo would have had very interesting they still have a very interesting interaction, but, like, I don't know, something a little less hostile of a first interaction. It would have been cool to see them, like, interact with each other, because the cat just, like, turns to violence. Like, it would have been nice for the cat to be like, oh, like, you know, they say, like, a cat got your tongue.
Some call me a chatterbox.
Like, you know, like, I can do enough talking for the both of us. Like, I think that would have been, like, cute.
This is what I, the curious cat, sound
I mean, I don't know, you kind of did to me. Anyway.
Kind of did.
But yeah, I really like this one. Very interesting lyrical material. But yeah, like, of course this has more analysis on tour, because this is a character song. The other one was, like, a fight song, right? So it's different. It's different. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys had fun. Maybe the Bumblebee video will be this long, and we will see you later. Bye!